Okay. Um, Hi, everyone. We are going to start today this meetup talking about advanced message queuing protocol. This is what Magento calls message queue framework. This is a great feature that Magento has implemented for this new version 2.3, I believe, as I recall right. And this is only for commerce license. This is a great step from the folks from Magento because it's part of the enterprise features that we need in this platform to compete with other software solutions. This specific methodology is a protocol. Is AMQP is a protocol, is a binary protocol, which is really interesting because it makes the data more reliable and also it's faster than other application layer protocols. It's designed efficiently to support a wide variety of messaging applications and is standard and is open source and is part of the communication parents, which is great that Magento is actually using something that already exists and obviously not trying to pretend to create something from scratch. Magento does this actually using RabbitMQ. Let me go over this and I show you guys some things. Let me try this. One sec. Yes, I know I'm sharing. Okay. Give me one sec. Let me organize my window here. All right. There you go. RabbitMQ is the software that Magento is using to do this. This is the application that actually is in charge of managing all of the queues. And Magento by default supports an adapter which is for MySQL. This is great, and the purpose of this meetup is just to give you guys an exercise. We are gonna configure an extension to use queues to export orders. This is a typical task on every Magento project, the capacity to export orders to the ERP system. And using queues is a good approach because it's going to help us to do asynchronously and also it's going to help us to have reliable data on the other side, something that we are not actually blocking our process of like running the exporting orders during a specific moment. We just leave it in the queue, and if the other system is offline or any other situation, we can just grab it from there at any time. Um, the way to do queues is great because what you can do with that is like you can ensure a quick response of the service, as I'm saying. So you don't actually need to have the both servers active at the same time. So you can just delegate all of the messages to that specific queue, and then the other consumer just grab the message when they need it, or the message that they need. It doesn't matter. It helps to distribute message to multiple recipients. So probably you have a server or an application that actually uses prices. Other one has the inventory data. So you can throw messages to the queues, and different systems can be consuming that messages all over the network. Offline clients, so you throw the message to the queue, and if the consumer is offline, it doesn't really matter because by the time that is online the server, they can just connect and grab the message and process the logic. That's great because it provides that reliability that we are talking about. High speed message delivery, and also the message acceptance. The message acceptance, it helps you to know that don't give me again the message that you already gave me, because when I say give me the queue, I receive the queue and I'm telling you what message I received. So then I can just pull I can just get the messages that I didn't read. Okay, so that's another great feature of this application layer protocol. Okay. What else I'm missing? Let me see. Quick response. No, that's it. Let me show you guys how Magento explains this quickly. All right. This is the great, I love it. The Magento documentation has been improved a lot. I'm developer from Magento 1, and literally we were yeah, reverse engineering of the code to understand how it works. But the approach that these guys are taking and making also collaborative, that you can actually provide some kind of pull requests on documentation, and this is great. So basically in this page, they are talking about message queues. They are talking what I told you guys about the message queue framework by Magento. The RabbitMQ that I'm telling you guys, and also is this based on the specification of this is the open protocol, okay? Again, MySQL is the adapter that stores in the database. Is the MySQL database. For this purpose, is fine, but it's recommended when we go to production to use more scalable RabbitMQ, which is what they are recommending here. Now here, we're gonna see all of this in an exercise, but here they're talking about the consumer, they're talking about the MySQL adapter, how that works, the interfaces, and talking about the topics and configuration. Let me the topics and the queues. This link is also great, and I think it's the best intro that we can do right now. So then when we are doing the code, it's gonna be easier for you guys to fully understand what we are doing. Basically, the message queue overview is like you are seeing in the screen. So what we have is something called publisher. Publisher is the one that actually generates a message, okay? That message goes to the broker. That part in the middle that you are seeing, that's the broker. That could be the RabbitMQ or this adapter that Magento created for the standalone applications. So the RabbitMQ actually has the exchange. The exchange is the engine that is deciding based on what you receive at what queue goes, and is in charge of prioritizing and organizing all of those messages. When you receive a message, it goes to different queues based on the topic. So we're gonna have the concept of topic, and then we can separate, like for example, let's say we have a Magento project running, and Magento is working as a digital channel only. So you need prices from one source, inventory for another warehouse source, and also you're gonna need to export the orders, right? So every type of those communications that I'm talking, that could be called topics, right? So when we're talking about a topic, then let's say that we're talking about orders. So orders could be exported, or orders could be also like cancellations, refunds, authorizations, all of that. They could be like different parts of that topic. So what I'm explaining here is right there. So you can actually say, like, for example, everything related to a customer, you can actually use a wildcard. So you can say that you have a system in charge of everything related to the customer, and using that, you can only consume the queues that you need. And that's where it comes this other entity, the consumer. The consumer is someone that is subscribing into this broker, and then is pulling those messages from the queue, okay? Why is making this really interesting? Because sometimes, or all times, developers were doing just like really bad approach. Is a really bad practice is to, for example, create the exportation of an order during the checkout process, right? Why? Because if for any reason your logic fails, the other system is down, that can be delays on your client customer experience, or also they could be like actually a broken page. So you are actually just in the final step of your checkout, and that creates a lot of friction and frustration for our clients. So what you need is like making it as smooth as possible, and then grab that later on, that order, and export into other system, but don't do it at the same time of the checkout. Usually they can do, we can do like, we can use the observe pattern. So what we see that someone is actually placing an order, we can just grab the order ID, put it in a table, and say like, okay, this is ready to export, okay? Again, don't try to do like the exportation and that process. Or what you can also do is like, fine, I received the order and I create a cron job, and the cron job identifies the order, and when it sees the order, then it start exporting. The only problem with that is that the cron job is like executing regularly, and then it's not asynchronous, right? So it's actually running on the same system. If you want to decouple that, message queue is the great feature and the great approach, okay? All right, that's it for the introduction. So let's create this extension that I prepared for you guys. So I'm gonna show you this, okay? So this is pretty much the different components or the different files that we need to create this extension. We are gonna create it now. This extension, what it's going to do is basically, it's going to have, first of all, the skeleton, which is the module structure. Then we're going to have configuration settings. So we're going to have the system XML and the config. Why we're going to have configuration settings? Because what I'm going to do is to allow the client to decide what status of the order are going to be selected for exporting, okay? Then after that, I'm going to create an extension attribute. What is an extension attribute? It's a way to extend a type or an entity from Magento to a way that they are like decoupled from the original entity. This is another great feature because what we don't want is to deal with Magento tables. That's for Magento core. We don't want to make sure, we don't want to touch that at any time because we want to make sure that every upgrade is the one in charge. Magento guys, Magento community is the only guys in charge to manage those tables. And if I'm trying to change columns or change colors, that would be the worst impossible. But if you're trying to alter a table or things like that, then you can find issues later on. The message queue, this is the great part of what we are talking. We're going to create a message queue, and we're going to have a publisher and a consumer. And then after that, we're going to have an export service, basically using service pattern to have all of the logic application of the business application into that service. And we're going to have a command, and the command is helping me only for this purpose, for you guys to see like right from the terminal. What we can do is just to execute the command, and then we can play with the logic. Okay, so all right, let's do that. First of all, I have my PHP storm right here running. Let me show you guys what I'm running. I'm running this. This is the Magento Docker development, Magento Cloud Docker development. This is running to the. Let me see. What is the one that I pulled? One sec. One sec, guys. Okay. Okay. Sorry, having issues here with the Zoom application, trying to select, oops, trying to select one of the windows. Okay, there we go. There you go. All right. This is just a local environment that I created, and I'm using 2.3.5 version. Okay, the latest so far today. I didn't install any kind of like sample products. I just created one single product, and what I did is that. Okay, it's happening again. Sorry, guys, having issues here with the screen sharing. Okay, there you go. All right, what I created is just one single order, just with the purpose of having some sample data to work with. And I created one catalog product also, which is the one that helped me to create this order. This order was created with using the check money order. As you guys know, check money order, the first state is pending. And then, so I did an invoice just to make sure that it's in processing. Why? Because usually the payment gateways that we are using, the first status is processing. So it's usually the configuration we are going to create now, I'm going to show you, is mapped to that specific one. Let me go to PHP Storm and let's start working on this. So as you can see here, as you're gonna, oh, this is gonna give me problems all the time. So let's start with this. All right, here we go. Let's start with this. Let's start creating our own application. So I'm gonna create, remember the two main files that we're gonna need to create our extension. It's going to be, I'm gonna call Bhippo. This is just a legacy we have here in Talos. Bhippo, I'm gonna create sync order. Let's see. There you go. The Bhippo sync order, and that's going to be my extension. And now what I'm going to do is to go over. You know what? Let me stop this, stop share. Let me share only one specific. I'm going to share only PHP or some. That's going to be easier for me. All right. There you go. Okay, let's create sync order. And now I'm going to create etc. directory. And then the two main files we're going to need to have this is the first one is a model, and the second one is registration. That are the two mandatory files to have one extension. So let's do that. So let's start with model.xml and registration.php. Okay. What I usually do for getting all of the headers from is just grabbing a regular Magento. Let's go to catalog. Extension right here, and then we go to model. All right, so we can just grab this and we can add this to our extension. Perfect. So the first one is model name. So we are gonna use our Bhippo. Let's say Bhippo sync order. Okay, and let's just define a version here, 100. All right, and now here we're gonna do like a dependency, obviously with sales order, which is part of the what we are doing right now. So let's do model name, oops, Magento sales. Okay. So now what we are doing here is let me review this. Bhippo sync order, yes. Setup version 100, sequence model Magento sales, we good. All right, let's do registration. Let's see, registration is a PHP file. Now we do Magento, framework, component, registrar. And now here we do the register, perfect. And now we are using Magento, again, framework, component, and then we do component, registrar. And now we say module, and we are registering this Bhippo, oops, sync order, okay? And where we are here, this tier. So far, so good. Let me see. Register a model. This is my model. Yes, sir. Perfect. Okay. Let me go to the terminal. Bash. This is the command to go to the bash into your Docker instance. Docker compose run deploy bash. And now let's do a setup upgrade. See how we are doing there so far. Okay, let me go to the next step. We are going to create now, guys, the configuration settings. For configuration settings, we need only one file, but I'm going to create two of them because we usually in Talos create the two files for handling the configuration, and that will be like the way to centralize all of the configuration access. So we create the folder here, admin HTML, and now we create our file here, system XML. All right, and then let's see. And then we also need to create, okay, this is the one. All right, let's create our model slash config PHP. Perfect. Okay, so let's start with the admin HTML. So again, let me grab something from here. System, thank you. Let's do this. All right, so the first thing we're going to create is a new tab. So we are going to call this one Bhippo sync, translate the label, and sort order, let's say 200, okay? All right, we are creating here a tab under the system store configuration, okay? Now here is a label, perfect. Let me close this one and close this one. All right, so tab, we good so far. Now let's create the first section, ID, and let's say Beehipo sync order. That will be my section ID, which is part of the XML path to get that store configuration. Let's say show in default equals 1. Let's say show in default. Let's say show in store equals 1. That will be enough for me. And we can just close this one section. Perfect. All right, let's say, where is this section going? This section goes into Beehipo sync, the tab that I just created right here, okay? And then label, we're gonna say order settings, all right? And now resource, well, we don't need resource. Let's do it for good practice. Resource, this is for ACL, in case you wanna have you wanna access control list for your configuration, okay? Let's do this now. Group ID equals status. All right. So what will be the status? What I'm trying to do here is to create a setting configuration where I can access, client can actually select what will be the default status for selecting orders to export, okay? So let's say that here we have this, and then, excuse me, I do the label or the status, and then let's create a field. Let's do field, we have pending, translate, label, and then we're gonna do the type. This is going to be a select, okay? And then sort order equals 10. Well, it's the first one, so it doesn't really matter. And as usual, we're gonna have this showing default, showing store. That will be our two scopes that we want to use, okay? So this is the field. I'm gonna do the label again, and now we're gonna do, this is the order status to export, okay? And now we're gonna use source model, and the source model is, this is a great class here, Magento sales model, config, source, status, processing. So this is actually getting all of this processing state, all of the status related to the processing state, okay? So then it's gonna allow me to pick one of them. Let me see my notes. What else do we have here? Exported, fail. I created this, but I don't think it actually, I created 3 of them. So then we can have, oops, sorry. So we can have this for pending, one for success. So you can actually allow the client to and another for fail. You can tell the client, okay, when you have, for me, for my application, I'm gonna look for all of the orders in this status. Then if it's successfully exported to your ERP, I'm gonna change the status to this. And if for any reason fail, I'm gonna do it I'm gonna change into this. So you can actually supervise your orders when you have any issues exporting, okay? But for this purpose, for this exercise, it's good enough. Let me see. All right, so that's system admin HTML. That's the right convention. Config. All right, let's do this class. So on this class, we're gonna use it for the purpose of pulling that information on, or those settings in my application. So let's do namespace. Let me see how we're doing. Okay, so far so good. Beehipo string order model. Okay. Beehipo string. Okay, perfect. Class config. Now let's do this. So we are going to const here that is path. Let's say path pending or status. status pending, which is equals to, let's see. So we have a hippo order, okay? Status, the group ID, whoops, what I'm doing. And the last one is my field, which is pending, all right? Perfect. Meanwhile, I'm doing that. Let me do this. Let me refresh. Perfect. Let me refresh my, I'm refreshing right now the admin page. Okay, I'll show you guys in a minute when it's ready. All right, so let's create this. So what I'm going to create here is I need a couple of things from the constructor. I need protected scope config. Okay, and I'm going to need protected configurator. It's a good practice to do the doc block. I'll do it at the end just with the PHP stump. Okay, public function, construct. All right, and then I'm going to pass these two classes. I'm going to pass the first one is Magento framework. Framework app scope config interface, scope config, and then the other one is going to be Magento framework, yes, app config, the same, and now it's writer interface. Okay, config writer, perfect. Dun, 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 dun. Config, wait a second. What I was doing config writer. No, I don't need config writer. This is for something that I was playing with. Now forget it. The scope config is more than enough. So now we do this scope config, and now we do scope config. You guys know this already about dependency injection, and now we are going to do public function get pending status. Pending status, and now we can pass as a param the store if you wish. Yes, I know syntax returned this scope config, and now we are going to do get value. So get value we can use like a self, that's the path we're going to use, and now we're going to use this Magento store model scope interface. I'm going to use a scope website, and that will be the fallback. That will be the scope that I'm getting this specific variable. Okay, and then that's the store in case you want to pass another store, but in this case, it doesn't really matter because it's only for a scope website. Okay, so far, so good. Close it, done. What I'm missing, let me check my notes. No, I think we're good so far. So, all right, code, generate, doc blocks for everything. Thank you. Oh, this is my bad typing. Perfect. All right. Meanwhile, my admin is loading. So we have this already, and we have this config. Okay. So basically, this is where I'm gonna set up the settings, and this is when I'm gonna pull all of the configuration. All right. Next step, let me see. Now we have this. Now we are going to create the order extension. What the order extension is going to do? The order extension, what it's going to do is to have me control what orders I've already exported. And not only that, but also it's helping me to validate that I'm not pulling all of the processing orders. That would be absurd. So I'm just actually combining all of the orders that have not been exported, okay? So to do that, let's do this. So we can go, etc., create a file, database schema, and now let's go to sync order, and now for a good practice, let's go to get an interface, API data, order, link, interface. Okay, perfect, and now let me create here two files. It's going to be order link, which is the class implementing this interface for the data. And also I'm creating this one, which is going to be resource model for abstract class, abstract database class to access to the database. Let me copy the content of these files for the purpose of this meetup, because this is actually a completely regular thing that we are not, it's not part of this publisher and consumer, and then we're not consuming the time. Let me copy order interface. So this is the interface. Let me show you namespace, exception, and then we have set order reference ID, get order reference ID, set order, get order. Oh, wait, let me do this in a different way. Let me show you first the table that I'm created and the relation that I'm doing with my orders, sales orders. And then doing that, you guys are going to understand better what I'm trying to do with the order link API or interface. So what you guys are seeing here right now is the way that I'm creating a table, but also I'm creating some constraints. These constraints are helping me for the foreign key, pointing to what? To sales order, which is the Magento default table. And then I'm pointing to the order ID column, which is my order ID. What I'm pointing to the reference column is entity ID, which is from sales order. Okay? On delete this cascade, so in case any order from the sales order is being deleted, these are being deleted, this data, okay? And what do I have in this table? I have an entity ID, order ID, increment ID. You remember this is different. This is a regular auto increment number, but this actually on sales is a way that where customers can configure the way that increments the order on Magento. Order reference ID, that this will be the order that we exported to the process system and returns the ERP. That's what we are actually saving, the mapping of my order in Magento, my order on the ERP. And create that is the date. That's it. So that's the schema, and based on that, that's where I created this order link interface. So this order link interface has the ability to set the order ID, set the order reference, set increment ID, and load and save capabilities. So all of this interface is being actually implemented by this class, order link, which is pretty much connecting to the abstract class of the resource model, and then I'm using the attribute fields that the table fields that I'm using. So this will be like set, get. Oh, it's just implementation, guys. And the order link is this one, which is this is the resource model, the abstract database, where I'm connecting with this table name, and I'm connecting this as the table name for this the initialization of the abstracting of the access to the database, okay, through these classes. All right, so far so good. Let's see how I'm doing with this. Let me see quickly if my admin is working now. And we will continue with the most interesting part, which is the message queue, guys. So I'm going to show you guys the message queue. So it's going to consist in a few files. So let me do this. So the first file we're going to have to create here is called communication. All right, then we're going to have a few other files. We're going to have queue, which is where we define in the queue. We're going to have queue consumer XML, queue publisher XML, and then we're going to have here queue topology.xml. All right, so let's start for the first one, communication. So communication, let me grab this from my notes. All right, so we're going to create the topic name. Remember what I told you guys? So this is the way I'm doing this. So this is my topic, sync order, but I'm creating actually a kind of an action inside. So that will help me to other platforms to say like everything related to an order, give it to me. So all of the broadcasting messages, I can pull it like this way. It's a good practice to have this like a main name and then a specific action. So in this case, is to export. And the request we are going to do here, Magento asynchron. Oh, let me copy that because it's going to be complicated. This is the class that it does the asynchronous operations. Okay, so Magento asynchronous operations AP operation interface. Now let's close the topic, config, and then we have the handler. The handler has the same, I'm gonna call it the same, sync order export, and then here I'm gonna call my type. Who is going to be my type? My type is going to be the class that I'm creating here, sync order. I'm gonna call model sync order consumer. This is the first class I'm gonna create as consumer. And the method that I'm calling is the process, okay? That will be handler. I don't need to close it like this. I can close it like this. Let me see if everything is this good. It is good. Model sync consumer. So let's create this one now. Perfect. All right, so that's communication. Let's go to queue. So with queue, do we define the queue that we are going to create? And let's say here, again, let me grab the XML syntax from there. All right, so we're gonna do here, broker, topic, and then we do sync, order, export, and then here we do the exchange. Who is going to do the exchange? Right now, this adapter, Magento database. Remember exchange that we show in the documentation, and the type for this is database. All right, so that's broker, and then this is the queue name. So we're gonna say the key name here is sync order dot export, and my consumer is the same as we were doing, the one that we created. Well, we didn't create it, sorry, it's the next file. Sync order export, and now the consumer instance is this one, and the handler is this one. Let me copy this, it's going to be easier. So consumer instance, this is the consumer, and my handler is going to be this. My sync order consumer, the same that we created in the communication with the action or the method process, okay? Now that's the queue. Let's do the consumer. Now we are talking about consumer. I know it's a lot of files, yeah. I'm sure these folks from Magento have a purpose of separating all of this, and it's still, I was reading, it still doesn't use all of the power tools that this RabbitMQ processing has, but it still has a good amount of things that we are gonna need. So this is the consumer. So we have now here the same queue name, the queue, and this is going to be the database, max messages, and consumer instance. And this is the handler again. What this means? This means that this is going to be the capability I'm gonna have from the terminal to go over and execute my consumer. This consumer runs asynchronously, so then I can have it running in the terminal, and then it's continuously contacting the queue and finding if there is a new message, and then from the broker, and then just executing. So that's great. Let me show you guys if this is. Let me see if this is grabbing. I'm reloading the administration. All right, let me see how we are doing. Oh, let me finish first with this, one thing at a time. All right, let's do the publisher. So the publisher is actually quite easier comparing to the others. So the publisher is telling who is going to be the connection to do the publish approach. So we say topic, and then the same one we are using all the time, export, and then here we do connection, name, database, exchange, Magento database. Whoops. And then here we go config and publisher, sorry. Publisher, topic, connection, name, perfect. And then queue topology. Here we go. Let me copy this header. Exchange, name, Magento database. Type, database, type is a topic. And we're gonna have connection, again, database. Okay, guys? Perfect. Let me close this one. Config, all right, exchange. Now, let's do the binding. Binding ID, let's say update binding. And now we're gonna have topic equals sync, order, export, destination type is a queue, and destination is the same, consumer sync, order, export, okay? All right, perfect. Now I have followed my XML. Let me see how I'm doing with the configuration. So let's see, setup module. Where is my hippo? All right, I know what it is. Let me see. There is no app code. I know why. Because I'm not running mutagen. Oh, bash mutagen. Thank you very much. The new version for Magento Docker creates two different mutagen sessions. The first one is for all of the folder of Magento. Second one is for vendor folder. Okay. So let me check sync monitor. This one. Oops. All right. Scanning files. That's gonna take a while. All right. Let's continue. So, all right, we have this. Let me check. Now we have all of the XML files. Let's create the consumer and then publisher. All right. So now let's do sync order publisher. Perfect. All right, let's do this. And let's do this in detail because it's important. So let me start with the consumer. Or let's start with the publisher. Probably it's going to be easier to understand. All right, so let's start with publisher. Watching for changes. Cool, I like it. So that means that I have already on my Docker app. No, oops, what I'm doing here, I'm missing code. There you go. All right, much better. Perfect. Let me see here, app code bhippo. Yes, so far so good. Let's do that. Setup upgrade. All right. All right, let's do the publisher. So then namespace, bhippo. We're gonna do bhippo sync order. Now we're gonna do model. I'm gonna do the class sync order publisher. Thank you. And I'm gonna have a few things. First one is private bulk management. This is the one that I'm gonna use to add all of the bulk operations. What is the bulk operations? Bulk operations is gonna help me to not only in the queue add only one specific message per operation to export, but we're gonna do more than one. Oh, what was that? It's not available. Yes, sir. I know why, because I'm just doing right now. Let me see if I can create this. I usually do this like in parallel just to make sure, because it takes a while sometimes to load the web admin, and then every time I flush the cache, so I prefer just keep running code. And sync order consumer, and now public function. I believe this has two strict types. One sec. Consumer. Yes, sir. Yeah, there is the way that I was seeing on the code. These guys from Magento are using strict types here just to make sure that it's strongly typed. So that means that you need to make sure that if I say that a function returns something, only accepts to return that pass. And in the process, oh no, the process doesn't actually need that one, but you can actually, let's say, process. So let's say if I'm asking, like, I want to receive here, Magento asynchronous operations, API, data, and now it's not there. Operations, API, data, operation, interface. And this is operation, okay? So if I'm asking you to have this is the only param that I'm asking you to pass. So that's what is these strict types declare. Okay, you were complaining about that method. I created for you. Let's see if that works. All right, let's get back to the publisher. So we're gonna have here in the publisher, bulk management. we're gonna have a private operation factory, okay, private identify service, and private serializer, okay, and private bulk size. This is just something that I saw in the code from Magento to limit the amount of the bulking that I'm doing and separate it, and then private order service, okay? Allow me to copy paste the constructor just to save some time. Okay, so this is the constructor, how it looks like. Still complaining. Bhipo, sync order model, sync order consumer, sync order consumer. What I'm missing here, sync order consumer, and service method in the declaration of handler for topic is not available. Given Bhipo, sync order consumer, process. All right, this is the consumer. One sec, guys. Yes, it is. To process. Yes, it is right here. Watching for changes, process, operation. Construction. Okay, I'll leave it to the end. Let's continue. All right, so this is the construction, the constructor, and then we have book management to create these bulk operations, operation factory, identify service. Did I write it wrong? Yes, I did. Serializer interface, order service, perfect, and the book size. This is just a static value there. So now that we have this, let's go to create the publish. All right. So we're gonna do this publish function, publish void. Perfect. Now let's do orders. Now orders, I'm going to pull orders from a specific server. I'm going to service. I'm going to create order service, and then I say get orders to export. I'll create that method in a minute. And then here, what I'm going to do is like if we receive orders, let's do that. If there is any order to export, in that case, I'm going to start creating something like bulk UUID, and then I'm using the identify service to get to generate ID. I'm going to use a bulk description. So I'm going to say something like exporting orders. Okay, let's say operation. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to support this and make operation. Let me create something for this in a minute. Make operation. And I'm going to show you the guys that in a minute. So once I have the make operation, let me see. I'm just going to ask the bulk management. I'm going to ask it to schedule the bulk. To schedule the bulk, I'm going to use the bulk ID. I need to pass the operation. I can actually create here multiples if I need it, once per order. That would be the best way. In this case, we can just to make this simpler. We're gonna just pass the array and then the bulk description, which is what I have there. That's it. That will create my bulk. And now if there is no result for any reason, I'm gonna do this. Throw new exception. Throw new localized exception, and let's say something here like, okay, I don't know, something fail creating a bulk operation. Okay, done. Returns void, so nothing to do. Let's do the make operation function. and now. So make operation is going to receive a few things. It's going to receive meta, queue, meta description, the queue name, data to update, or data to export, we can call it. Data to export, okay? And we're gonna create here something like bulk UUID. All right, close this one. Operation interface. That's what we are going to return. And now let's say data to encode array of meta information. How are we doing with time? Okay, and this will be meta. And now here, data. Data to update. Oh, data to export in this case, which is the one I created. Perfect, that's the rate. And now we're gonna use like a new array data, and let's create it in this. This is the format that it requires. Data, array, oops, no double array, data, array. And now we're gonna do bulk UUID. Now, topic name. Oops, sorry guys. Topic name, queue. And now we're going to do serialize data. This is going to be this serializer, serialize, which is going to create my JSON with my data to encode, which is the array right there. What I'm missing, status. And the status, this is different status. This is more like the adapter operation for Magento. So Magento, framework, framework, bulk, operation, interface, status, operation interface, status type open. That's it, that's it, that's it. Data finish, return this operation factory. Now the bulk operation has been created for data, guys. What I'm missing? Here. Oops, no. What I'm doing wrong. Oh, yeah, there you go. Double array, this returns, and return this. This is extra, this is good. All right, so now let's throw those params here. Let me see. So to make operation, we're gonna pass them, first of all, export order required, meta description, the queue, sync order, which is the one we were creating on the XML files, orders, and bulk UUID, which is the sync. All right, publisher created. What is complaining? Oh, I have it wrong here. Here. Yes, you're absolutely right. I have a double localhost exception. Yes. All right, so that's my publisher. Localhost exception is here because I'm using here. That's good. Let me do some cosmetic adjustments here. Yes, you're right. My bad. Done. All right. And sorry, generate code blocks. Perfect. All right, I have my sync publisher. All right, because I'm running out of time. Let me grab from my reference code. I have a command here, which is called console, and it's helping me to call this command for publishing. Basically, what I'm doing is to replicate it in what will be. You can do this with an observer, or you can do this with a cron, or whatever you want. Basically, for this purpose of this meeting, is just to have a command that I can run in from the terminal, so I can keep throwing a publish and then it's going to help me to do this testing that we need to do, right? So basically, I created a new command. It's called sync order publish to publish an order, any order, or publish any exportable orders, more like that. Okay, and then I'm just calling this publisher, which is the one we just created. Okay. So to have a command, you're gonna need also the DI, which we don't have in this project, and you need to declare it. And to do that, let me see in my code. Yes, that's the one I need. So you see a type, command list, the arguments, and this is the publish command. And there you go. That's it. And that's the object that we are calling, which is this one. All right. Now that we have this, let me create the consumer, and I think we're good to go. Oh, I need also the service. Let me do this. Consumer. Let me copy the consumer. Probably it's going to be easier for you guys to. All right, and let me see what we are doing wrong on the terminal. Meanwhile, I explain to you guys. Consumer file. Consumer file is the element that is going to help us in the pattern of publish consumer, the AMQs. That is going to help me to read those messages and execute them. Okay. This consumer, what I was telling you, has strict types, and it has logger, has a serializer to unserialize what I was doing in the publisher, and then also I have yeah, I know that doesn't exist. Let me do that. Order service. Sorry about that. Operation management, entity manager, order link factory. And this is remember I created this one for order link, which is gonna help me to do the reference of the different orders with my exported orders. And then we have the construction. The constructor is the same that I will explain to you right now. And then this is the main method, which is the process. Okay, process is giving me an operation. The operation is actually one single message the publish is sending. So that single message, I'm gonna do like, okay, give me the operation, and I'm gonna unserialize the data. So I did get serialized data. Oh, sorry. Get serialized data and serialize it, and then I run execute. What is execute is just a method that I created here to separate what is control error management and what is actually the logic. Okay, so right here I have two catches. I have one when it says localized exception, and I have everything else. Okay, now this is great because I saw in some other codes from Magento that they can actually do exception when it's a log timeout from the database, things like that, depending on actually what the logic you are doing. Well, this is the place to do it. And this is gonna help you to understand why actually your queue, your consumer queue is failing, okay? So then all of this is a regular exception catch, but this is the one that is interesting, and is the status. When a queue message is being received, and then you are reading that message and executing something, the message, you need to leave the message in a different status. So in this case, we are leaving the status in case that it fails, is like a status type, not retrievable fail, because it's a final fail. So that is not something that we're gonna be able to retry again. Now, if it doesn't fail, so we're doing set a status, and then we're doing the status type complete. Status type complete means that that message is not going to be delivered to anyone else because that's been already processed. Okay, then if we can do any error code if we want, and then the rest of the message in case that we want to in case that you have anything here that is actually like something that you can do you can track that error in case that is like a warning or something like that. Okay, and then from entity manager you just save the operation, and then you are coding. What we are doing in the execute. Okay, the execute is fairly simple for this purpose, for this example, for this demo or this scenario. So basically we are preparing an array of orders. So we are pulling, we're in the consumer. We are pulling the data, all of the orders, and then what we are doing here is asking the order repository to get every single order that it came from this array. So that's what we get here. What is order? This is a model for Magento for sales order. Now with this order, here I left this comment, guys, like this will be the place to add the logic for exporting. Either if it's, you need to do an XML builder and export it with XML, or you just consuming REST APIs to export the order, whatever you do here, this is the place, okay? And then here, what we do is like this order link is this, excuse me, this is the order link, which is the extension attribute pattern that we are using for Magento, and this is where we are creating the different rows that indicates the label or the that indicates the relation of the original order from Magento and the orders from the ERP. Okay, let me do this so I can go to the admin to see flush the cache of the config. So I'm gonna show you guys everything that we were creating. Let me just refresh in my browser. I keep explaining this to you guys. So let's go to the database. Now let's get an understanding of how we are doing. First of all, let's see if we are doing things right. Setup model, bhippo sync order. Good. Version, we good. So the model has been installed and created. Let's see if actually on top of that, we are creating our own table. Yeah, it's here. So bhippo sync order, the extension attribute order has the fold, let me see, probably you guys can read it better here. So it has the entity, order, increment, and reference, okay? So we good on that one, so we can close it. And this is where we're gonna have the orders that we are exporting. Why we're keeping this here? Because it's the way that we are not reprocessing all of the orders all the time, okay? Now, let's see the queue. So remember that Magento has a way that persists the queues, and this is where it is. So this is where Magento manages all of the queues that are active in the system, and you can see that all of these are Magento default, and this is our queue, sync, order, export, okay? And all of the messages when we create a new queue, sorry about that, queue, we're gonna have queue message. All of the messages are going to be here, and this is the status. This message and message status, this is the way that Magento is doing their own queue system. But as I said at the beginning, it's much better to use our RabbitMQ application. Okay. All right. I'm getting an error here. Admin XML, system XML is invalid. Okay. Let me see. System. What I'm doing wrong. Let me just grab from my exercise the header, okay? All right. Let me try again in the browser. All right, let's continue with the database. All right, so I've explained to you guys setup model, the queues, the queue messages. Now let's start trying to throw a message to my queue. So to do that, let me use my command that we created. And it's right here. Look, sync, order, publish. So we can do be in Magento, sync, order, publish. And let's do it. All right, column not found, extension, attribute, sync, order, reference ID in where clause. Okay, extension, attribute. Oh, I know why. Because I need to do, wait, column not found. I know what is this. Let me see in my order service here. Oh, I forgot to explain you guys. Publisher and consumer are using our order service. This is a good way to have decouple all of the management of my orders. This order service has something called get orders to export. here what I'm doing is an array mapping of all of the orders that they are actually ready to export. And to do this, what I'm doing is here, guys. So what I'm doing is creating this search criteria builder, and then I'm doing add filter, which is a status to match. And also I'm doing another filter, which is the extension attribute sync order reference ID, which is the one is complaining that I don't have that one. Null, null, and I'm creating this one. And this is because I did something wrong here. Sync order, reference, sync order. Okay, status to match in extension attributes. Give me one sec. Column not found. Okay, I'm going to do guys debugging in a minute. Let me work around that issue and see if I can just arrive here with here and then order publisher, publish. Let me see. I'll fix that one in a minute. All right, here we go. Get orders. This is the array map. It's coming here. It's creating search criteria. Get list. So let's see how many do we have. Count orders. Yes, we have one. Bulk ID. Look, this is the bulk ID. Looks like operation. Make an operation, and then we have another error. Let's see what is this error about. Wait. Let's just play it. Console, terminal. Let me see. Bulk operation interface not found. Sync order publisher. What it did it wrong here? Bulk. Oh, my frame wall. Frame wall is this is framework. Framework. Bulk. Much better. Framework. Let's do this. Let's see. Frameworks. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Done. Let's do it. Terminal. All right, another error. Our make operation must be an instance of Big Hippo operation interface. Give me one sec, guys. Sorry about that. All right, let's see. What I'm doing here wrong. Make operation. All right, make operation. Operation factory. Let me see. Publisher. Operation factory. Yes. Class Magento framework bulk operation interface. Not. Oops. This is the same one that I did, right? Here, fatal error. Return value. Sync order publisher make operation. This one is supposed to return an operation interface. Must be an instance of operation interface. And I'm returning an Magento asynchronous operations. Yes, you're absolutely right. Because this operation interface has to be right here. Yes, sir. That's the one. This is the operation interface that I need to return from this one. Perfect. And and operation factory is, let me see if it's the right one. Operation factory. Perfect. So this is the one, operation factory. Asynchronous operation factory. There you go. Let's see now. All right, let me change my screen to Chrome. All right, here in Chrome, let me play this. All right, let's do this. Here in Chrome, what we created is the following. Stores configuration. And now, that usually takes a while. I'm gonna show you guys the configuration settings that we created. This is still complaining. Let me just copy paste this. This is what I was talking about. Every time I change the config, it takes usually a while. All right, let me see here, starts to match. Terminal, all right. Okay, let me get back to PHP Storm. All right, so I got this finally published. I just restore my old file to make sure that we have all of this working. So now that the publisher work through this command, you see there is no error. If we go to the database, what we receive here is this. Look, I have actually two messages because I created them. And then right here, let me show you guys, we're gonna have a sync order export and another export here, and then the statuses. The statuses right now is number 2. What is this status about? This status about is, let me show you, this is the following class. Magento, MySQL queue management, oops, not this one, not the test one, no, not you, the queue management. Sorry, model queue management, you. So here you have the statuses. This is created by Magento. It has the different status that Magento simulates RabbitMQ. So when it says 2, that means that it's new. It's a new message to run. When it says it's in progress, when it's complete, it's 4. Okay. And then if for any case you want to retry because something is not ready, you can actually it's called reject. And then it saves as 5, right? Retry required. So that message gets back to the queue, and then you can consume it again. And errors is 6, and as I said, final result should be 4 as completed. So look, right now both of them are in 2 because they are being scheduled. They are being messages that we are broadcasting. Okay. And now based on this, what I'm going to create for you guys is to run the queue. So to run the queue, it's working like this. Let me show you. To run the queue, we have queue consumer list, which is this one. So we do this, and then you guys are going to show that my new queue is there, which is great. This is awesome because you can just start the queue and you can just leave it there, and it's continuously listening any new message that you have in the broadcasting. So you do the start, and then you do this sync order export. That's it. Now, if we wait, we're gonna see that this actually is going to process. You saw that there is nothing actually happening there. That the only thing that we are doing is just saving that the order has been exported, and then you see it's changed to 4. So now if we open another terminal here, and then we do bash, oops, no, not you, bash you. And then we do bin, Magento, sync order export, I believe I could call it. Oh, sync order publish, sorry. Weird name. You see 3 and 4. So you see how fast it's actually running. So look, not you. So my queue is actually running asynchronously, and it's actually like all the time. And then here, what I'm doing is like calling a new publish. You see that is the message there, and now it's been executed. Excuse me. So in that way, so this is great because we were able to create a publisher, which is in charge of like just grabbing anything you want. Like for example, a new product has been added, you need price, or you need to modify inventory status for 100 products. You can just leave those messages in the queue, have a consumer, which is the one that we created here, and it's actually looking at that queue, and when it identifies that, processes. And the other thing that we are doing also great is the capacity that those messages are like lightweight. So those messages are living here, and they are not actually running any kind of logic. And then your consumer is, you decide when, or it can be, it could be down at some point. You decide when you instantiate this, and then is when it's actually running all of the materials. So I think that actually covers the sample that I created for you guys. You guys can extend this, and again, this is just the adapter. Ideally, in production system, use RabbitMQ, and there are a few great ways to improve this that we can actually see in another sessions. And yeah, I think that's pretty much the part of this exercise, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and we're gonna leave all of the code for you, so you can just grab it and do suggestions, please. Yeah, hope that actually has been. Oh, I also forget. Let me show you guys how it's actually looking. Share my screen. This is the part that we started. So we created the thing, we created the order, and this is the tab what we are actually saving. Again, this is just, you can order to export, so you can say processing. Remember, this is the status attached to the state, okay? And this is the way that you can do that. I forgot to show you these guys. Again, that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and please provide feedback. And if someone wants to share new ways to do this or better ways, more than welcome. That's the purpose of all of this meetup, okay? Thank you, guys. Take care.